Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to this series where we have been honored with the opportunity to delve deeper into the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the month of the Qur'an. It is also a month of fervent supplication, a time when the doors of paradise have been flung open, the doors of hellfire have been shut, and the opportunity to elevate ourselves spiritually is upon us. And so, from today and every evening of this blessed month, we will have an opportunity to connect with, reflect on, and memorize, inshallah, one, two, or three of these beautiful du'as, which all begin with Rabbana or Rabb. We might just pause here and look at the relevance of the number 40. Why 40? So there have been different insights offered as to the wisdom of this number. So it's not possible to offer a definitive answer. What we can say is that there is a significance to this number, as is witnessed throughout the Qur'an and Hadith. The du'as that we will intend to memorize here are du'as that will, inshallah, serve us in every aspect of our lives. These are the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, spoken on the tongues of the best of Bani Adam, and supplications that have been accepted by Allah Ta'ala. Because of this, these sacred words are healing in and of themselves and provide us with rich nourishment for our souls. Before starting, it might be good to touch upon the meaning of Rabb. It's a word we hear so often. We say it in Fatiha at least 17 times a day in our Salah, and it's often translated as Lord. So what does it mean? So Rabb means the owner, Al-Malik. It also means the master, As-Sayyid, the one with full authority. It also holds the meaning of the one who takes care of everything, the one who sustains, nourishes, provides, and bestows gifts. It also holds the meaning of nurturer, reformer, the one that mends deficiencies and discharges affairs of creation. The word tarbiyah is also derived from the same root, and we often hear it discussed in relation to the upbringing and nurturing of children. This meaning implies bringing up something or taking it from one state and one stage to another until it reaches perfection. So when we say Rabbana, we are now acknowledging and declaring that He is our Rabb. When we use the words Rabbana, we are now pleading our needs to our Creator, our Sustainer, our Nourisher, with all the meanings that this word denotes. This knowledge of who our Rabb is should help us to arrive at a place of deepening trust with Him, to relinquish any false notions of power and control that we like to cling on to. Saying Rabbana brings us back into the rhythm that is shared by the whole of creation, whom He is sustaining in every moment, and allows us to place ourselves firmly in our true position as Bani Adam, that of being His humble slaves who stand in utter need at all times. The first of these du'as that we will look at today comes in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 127. رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. Our Lord, accept this from us. You are the all-hearing, the all-knowing. The context of this dua is that of Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam, his son, building the sacred house, the Baytullah in Mecca, which we now know to be the Kaaba. A narration in Bukhari mentions that Ibrahim alayhi salam once told his son Ismail alayhi salam that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given him a task to do, and if he would help him with it, and asked if he would help him with it. Ismail alayhi salam agreed, and they set out to build the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ismail alayhi salam would look for stones while Ibrahim alayhi salam laid the foundations and built the structure. They continuously made this supplication while circulating the Kaaba as they built it. And what we learn from this is that these great luminaries, these great prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not suffice with just obeying the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to build the sacred house. Rather, while they were engaged in this momentous task, they were at every moment humbly petitioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that this deed that they are doing is acceptable to Him. And so we learn that everything that we do, whether it be worship, charity, fasting, raising and nurturing children, sabr, leaving off that which is displeasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or whether it be volunteering or teaching or supporting our vulnerable, anything that we do of good deeds, it will only bring about a benefit for us in terms of rewards, closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, more opportunities of goodness, and so much more, if and only if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts it from us. And what can we see of the fruits of acceptance? We can use the analogy of the seed, that just like the fruit seed is planted, it will germinate under the right conditions. It will grow roots and a shoot, and then sometime after that, maybe even years after that, after growing firm and deep roots, it may eventually bear fruit, which will contain seeds which hold the possibility of growing multiples of trees which will bear similar fruit. And so, for our deeds to be acceptable, they must be good in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They must have pure roots. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept our deeds as long as we are sincere in our intentions and have the humility to know that it is Allah who grants enablement. And so it also makes sense then that in the same supplication, it affirms that you are the all-hearing, the all-knowing. We affirm that He is the one who is hearing this supplication, that it is only Allah who can hear and respond to our needs and the needs of all of His creation. And it is Him who is all knowing of what we are doing and of our true intentions, that He hears the whisperings of our souls and the inner narratives of our heart. He is all knowing of what is happening for us internally and externally, and He alone knows where the seeds of these actions will carry us. He knows the past, the present, and the future of these actions. And so, what we are learning from this dua is that we must possess several things for our good deeds to be accepted. That those actions must be pure in intention, free of any ostentation or impure intentions. We also learn not to become reliant solely on having done good actions, but rather, as Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam did, we turn back to Allah again and again with humility, asking Him to accept our offerings. And coming back to Ibrahim alayhi salam, Ismail alayhi salam, we can see through the lives of these two great prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He certainly accepted from them, to the extent that we as Muslims, thousands of years later, until the present moment, are honoring that sacred house. And so we ask, رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. May Allah accept from us all our fasting, our standing, and our devotion this month. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.